This is the Manga Xanadu Manga Dome podcast. I am your host, Laurie Henderson. Join me on this journey into the world of manga, where a river of reviews flow through caverns of commentary down into the latest news. Welcome to the Manga Dome. Episode 62, 7 Seas Tsunami, the weekly wish list. 2 seems to be the magic number for new releases lately. This week, it's titles from Kodansha and Vertical. Say I Love You Volume 2 continues the odd relationship between Mei the loner, who's never had a friend, and Yamato, the most popular boy in school. The plot sounds cliché, but comes off as anything but. Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin Volume 6 hits the halfway point in the series and is still selling like gangbusters, which is a big surprise considering the Gundam anime never did well here, while the manga, The Origin, hasn't done well anywhere else. In the news, the latest issue of Akita Shoten's Weekly Shonen Champion ran a special chapter of Masami Kurumada's Saint Seiya Next Dimension in the issue out June 19th. Next Dimension has been Kurumada's continuation of the series, which he put on hiatus in January after completing the Myth of Hades arc. The series began in 2006 and the 9th compiled volume came out the next day. With a movie due out in the summer, Saint Seiya has been appearing all over the place, including in the mobile game Puzzles and Dragons in very cute SD forms. I so wish we could get more Saint Seiya. The manga sold well digitally. I would pay more for a new digital-only release. Discotek is an anime licensor that licenses older anime titles. This week, they went on a bit of a licensing spree that fans of both manga and anime would appreciate. They have added Zombie Loan, Itazura na Kiss, Flame of Recca, and series Celestial Legend. All of these titles have been released complete except for Itazura na Kiss, which DMP is still currently releasing. Volume 10 just came out in May. All of these manga are over 10 volumes long, so an anime of them would not tell the complete story. But if you like getting the anime versions of your favorite manga, when they exist, now's the time. Most of these titles were released previously and are now out of print. I know I'm going to keep my eye on the Serious Celestial Legend set. It's sad when mainstream media outlets get a hold of an anime and or manga story from Japan. Case in point, CNN decided to run a story on the passing of the ban on child pornography in Japan. The ban does not include anime or manga since real people are not being abused. I'm not going to get into that debate, but CNN apparently thought it would be cute to return to a 1990s mindset in order to depict all manga and anime as having child pornography. They picked up a seemingly random manga with 2 young-looking girls on the cover, blurred it over to imply obscene content, and proceeded to vilify both medias. How desperate is CNN to get views that they will resort to this sort of tabloid journalism? They couldn't even find an actual pornographic manga and instead grabbed a horror title just because the girls on the cover looked underage? Such ignorance is inexcusable from an organization claiming to report the news. I'd expect this kind of behavior from Fox News. CNN should aspire to be better. This week's issues of Viz Media's Weekly Shonen Jump features a special boys' side chapter that crossed Nisekoi and new license My Love Story. The chapter originally ran in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump last September with a follow-up of a girls' side chapter in Besatsu Margaret the next month. While there is no release date, Viz has said it will get the second girls' side in the future. My Love Story's first volume will be released as part of Viz's Shoujo Beat line July 1st, so this is a good way to get the series some coverage to an audience that might otherwise pass it up. The Top 10 Department. There's not a lot of change over at VizManga.com as shonen titles continue to dominate. For the week of June 10th, 2014, there is a new top title. Dead Man Wonderland Volume 3 debuts at number 1. Magi Volume 6 debuts at number 2, while the sale on Blue Exorcist Volume 1 pushes it up 1 to number 3. Arata the Legend Volume 18 debuts at number 4, as One Piece Volume 71, last week's top title, falls 4 to number 5. Boys Over Flowers Jewelry Box, one of the 2 shoujo on the list, debuts at number 6, while Seraph of the End Volume 1 falls 5 spots to come in at number 7. Food Wars Volume 2 moves up 2 to number 8. Genki Daisy Volume 14 falls back 4 to number 9, and Toriko Volume 22 falls the most, 7 spots, to end the list at number 10. Half of last week's shoujo titles got bumped in favor of shonen this week, but at least one was replaced by another shoujo with the debut of Boys Over Flowers special volume Jewelry Box. Arata the Legend hasn't been around for a while, so it's nice to see it pop up. It will be interesting to see what is number one next week, with a lot of digital firsts that like the top spot coming out. Over at the New York Times bestseller list, Viz loses its dominance to some odd titles. For the week ending June 14th, 2014, there's a new top title. Crimson Spell Volume 4, from Viz's Sublime imprint, debuts at number 1. One Piece Volume 71 moves up 8 spots to come in at number 2, while Millennium Snow Volume 3 moves up 3 to number 3. Attack on Titan Volume 1 continues to camp out at number 4, while Wolf Children Ame and Yuki return again at number 5. High School DD Volume 1 moves down 4 to number 6, while Soul Eater Volume 20 moves down 2 to number 7. Kami-sama Kiss Volume 15 moves up 2 to number 8. Attack on Titan Volume 2 returns at number 9, and Naruto Volume 65 returns to end the list at number 10. It always seems odd to me when a Sublime title makes it to the list. I don't follow that line as closely and always have to think about when Viz did a new license, and I just forgot or missed it. It's good to see Millennium Snow make it for a second week. Yen Press's High School DD is doing fairly well, as is Wolf Children Ame and Yuki with their Here Gone act. I do think, though, we'll be seeing Titan sneaking back onto the list as more people see the anime and then look for the manga. 7 Seas Tsunami. Last week, Yen Press went on a mini licensing binge with essentially 5 new titles for both light novels and manga. 7 Seas Entertainment, not to be outdone, decided to roll out their own wave of licenses. They announced 4 titles, all of which are fairly new in Japan, and that surprisingly don't look or sound iffy. Dance in the Vampire Boon 2, Scarlet Order, is a sequel to the main series and only just started last December in Kadokawa's Comic Flapper magazine after some delays. The series starts in 2020, where Mina is invited as a guest to the opening of the Tokyo Olympics. There, she is targeted by terrorists and becomes aware of a new threat to vampires. It's of little surprise that 7 Seas got this series. They've published all the Dance in the Vampire Boon spin-offs, as well as completing the main series. The first volume will be available December 2014. I still haven't read any of Dance in the Vampire Boon, so I doubt I'll pick this one up until then. Claylord, Master of Golems, is a relatively new fantasy series from Ichijinsha's monthly comic Zero Sum and follows Clay, a boy who creates golems with earth and magic powers. He competes in competitions to improve his skills in creating the golems, artificial life forms who are loyal to their master, who can be servants, laborers, guards, and even pets. Joining him on his adventures are his handmaid servant, guard, and maid. The first volume will be released in April of 2015. This is a title I will definitely check out when it's released. I've enjoyed several of the titles from the same magazine, so I have high hopes I'll enjoy this one too. Evergreen is from the writer of Toradora, Yuyuko Takemiya, and artist Akira Katsukabe. It is a romantic comedy about Hotaka Yoshimatsu, the president of his high school's manga club, and Niki Awaya, the swim team ace, who Hotaka spends his days watching from the manga club room. One day they come in contact during a swimming test, where they eventually become friends, and maybe more. The series is published by ASCII Media Works' monthly comic Degenki Dao. The first volume will be out in May 2015. This is another title that sounds interesting, so I'll probably check it out too. Nurse Hitomi's Monster Infirmary is the last of the new licenses. It is a comedy that follows Hitomi, a somewhat clumsy but kind nurse who also has one huge eye. The series is a slice of life, following Hitomi's days in the infirmary with her gender-ambiguous assistant and the unusual middle school students who come to see her. The first volume will be out February 2015. This title interests me because I love yokai, and it sounds like it will be filled with them. Which of these titles are you looking forward to and why? Leave me a comment and let me know. Thank you for listening to the Manga Xanadu Manga Dome podcast. You can find links to the stories and books discussed here in the show notes at manga.jdragononline.com. You can email me with any questions at xanadu@jdragononline.com or leave a comment on this post. Rate me on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at Manga Xanadu, all one word. Until next time, farewell from the Manga Dome.